Nice. Jeff Caleb.
We got a few people here you might know.
Yeah.
I mean, a few people here might know you as well. Let's see if we can get my brother another drink, please. Thank you. So, for those of you who don't know, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, sir? Tell these people a little bit about yourself and your background, sir.
I don't know. I don't know.
Just the guy.
I'm a brawler.
Makes sense.
I'm a political activist and computer guy and Bitcoin guy and break the rules guy kind of guy. Something like that.
It's impressive how we just had a lawyer. Now we get up next. We got a break the rules guy. Isn't that special?
Well, yeah.
It's the kind of variety we like to keep here on Crypto Mondays San Juan. So the brother's a little humble here. When you say a Bitcoin guy, how exactly long have you been a Bitcoin guy?
Yeah, it was a while. I think one of the big first things I did was in 2013, I opened the live trading floor right next to the New York Stock Exchange on the ground floor, 100 feet from the New York Stock Exchange.
I bet you they didn't like that too much.
It was ridiculous. Yeah, they all came after me. Well, at first they wanted to know what the heck we were doing, and then they saw the bags of money and the money counting machines, and everyone bidding. I resurrected the pit that the electronic trading shut down, at the stock exchange. So a lot of those guys would come in also, and we'd teach them about Bitcoin. And, all the press came in, we stood there, like David in front of the modern-day Goliaths with a slingshot.
That slingshot is
ridiculous.
It's snowballed just a little bit, hasn't it?
Wow. That was a while ago. I got the battle scars, yeah. It was a little, it was hard, yeah. I mean, I don't even know how to explain it. Regulators, everyone would walk in and say, "What the heck are you doing here?" I said, well, I'm supplying the space for free, and I'm paying for the booze, and these guys are trading with each other. They're like, "Oh, you're..."
That's kind of like what I do with Crypto Mondays. Kind of like, it's kind of like the same thing. These guys really don't like me. They just like my food, like food, So, with that being said, why don't you tell us a little bit about, I got some kind of like general questions in relation towards where we are today with crypto, and maybe your thoughts on, I never ask people for price predictions. None of us have a crystal ball, and I never ask anybody for what they think the price of anything is or what it will do. But I do ask people how they feel about the market and where they think we are and where they think we need to grow at, and especially a man such as yourself. So what do you see we're at right now, especially with this coronavirus world we live in?
Listen, I don't know what the price is going to be. I don't think anyone knows what the price is going to be, of course.
That's why I don't ask them.
Because it's limited, it's going to go up, I believe. And I've always believed that, even when it was back to nothing practically. And it keeps going up. So I think it's a great investment, of course. And
this is not financial advice. Where's Mr. Mendez? That was our disclaimer for this evening.
Yeah, I don't give financial advice. But that's not why I got involved with Bitcoin. I mean, like I said, I was a political activist. Back in the 80s, I had a bunch of different types of businesses. I had political data I sold. I had a real estate company. I was very active. And then the stock market crashed, and I thought the world was over, and I became a commercial fisherman. And then I saw on TV that Greenspan, that was the chairman of the Federal Reserve, if his briefcase was wider, then we might not have had the crash. And I was like, what? I go, that guy? I said, I had a Cadillac with a cell phone. I mean, a cell phone was a big deal. It was like a $2,000 bill every month. I go, and this guy here with his briefcase turned me into a fisherman. I said, that's my owner. I said, that guy's my owner. And I went and I read about the Federal Reserve at the library, of course. I had to go to the library. And I couldn't believe what I was reading. And then one night, I was out on the boat. It was like January. I got hit with a wave. And I was like, I had like some rush of information. And I said, I got to go and destroy the Federal Reserve. I go, that's my calling. I have to go back into society and get off this fucking boat and destroy the Federal Reserve. That was what I was thinking to myself. I don't.
You want to know what the irony of this is? This is very similar to my origin story. And I didn't get hit by a wave on a boat, but I actually was in a car accident. This is a true story. I was actually in a car accident. I was laying in bed. And I actually totaled my SUV at the time. I fell asleep in Miami on I-95, and I was doing about 80, and I rear-ended somebody that was coming off the exit. I was in the left lane and drifted all the way to the right lane. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning or something like that. I fell asleep. And I hit somebody that was going off the exit, thank God, and I hit him right behind him, so I lived. They were doing about 30. I was doing about 80, and I banged myself up pretty good, but I lived. I'm laying in bed for about 3 weeks all beat up, and a friend of mine brings me an ounce of weed and some Bitcoin. And he's like, hey, man, check this out. Just here, let me get your phone. Take some of this. And just leaves the weed and the Bitcoin, and I just start studying, and I'm laying in bed. I can't move, so I start watching YouTube videos. The irony of it is some of the early videos I come across are videos of yours. And the first video, ironically, that I actually seen was What is Blockchain by a little guy named Brock Pierce. I never knew who the guy was, and the irony of that is incredible as well. But yeah, so I start watching these videos, and about 3 days later, after me watching videos and reading all day long, I basically just an epiphany hit me, and I just realized this is gonna fucking take everything over. This is literally gonna encompass every aspect. When first I started studying what is Bitcoin, and then when I started studying what is, I quickly realized it wasn't Bitcoin, it was blockchain. That was really like the real meat of what the importance of the technology was. And then I started realizing all the various use cases and potential use cases for what blockchain could mean, as you had trustless technology that would remove the middlemen from goods and services, thus lowering the cost of goods and services across the board. And the next day, I literally just changed everything I was doing, and I went headfirst into the industry, and here we are. But yeah, so that's a pretty similar story. But yeah, so where do you see, like, our industries it seems to be doing pretty well right now. We're doing, nice spot, right? Things are looking up. How do you see the United States positioning in terms of global regulatory frameworks? Do you think the U.S. is the best place for a Bitcoin entrepreneur or a blockchain entrepreneur?
Absolutely not. I sent a lot of people out of New York, of course, with the bit license I've been fucking around with for 5 years. And the States, absolutely not. It is not the place. We're not welcome. We're more welcome in other places. And the States are going to pay for it. I mean, they can sit there with their old guard in their back smoke-filled rooms. And the new guard here, what the heck's his name?
Biden?
He didn't win yet.
Are you talking about Puerto Rico or are you talking about the U.S.?
I don't know.
Yeah, both of them. Both of them are still,
Well, the states have to certify.
You hear the Trump fans talking about he didn't win yet. We're holding on.
I know the guy. I never liked the guy.
I'm not a Trump fan, by the way. I just
not
think
a Biden fan, that's for sure.
I'm not either one of them fan, actually. I think it's a joke. I think the United States election is a joke. They're playing us for a fool. Look at our candidates that we have to pick from. You can't possibly convince me these are the two most qualified people. And that Joe Biden having, like dementia and being like 80, you don't think he's got 8 years of decision making involved where he's got the keys to blow up the world. Like, I can't believe this, and I can't believe everybody goes for this shit. But okay, I live in Puerto Rico. I can't vote for president anyway. Fuck y'all. I'm laughing. But at the same time, it's incredible to me. I thought this in 2016. Like I already thought this a long time ago, right? But in 2016, when they gave us a choice between Hillary Clinton, who just looks like she's lying every time she opens her mouth, and Donald Trump, who literally doesn't make any sense. He's entertaining, right? The guy's pretty entertaining when he talks, but he literally doesn't make any damn sense. Anybody who listens to him with any intelligence can't tell me this guy's got a clear-cut plan on anything other than making fun of people. Now, I like jokes. I talk a lot of shit. But at the same time, this guy's not the guy. And then when they turn back around and they give us him and Joe Biden, who literally looks like he can't remember what he had for lunch yesterday, I can't believe that this is a real job, that it matters. I'm sorry, but I can't. I don't see it.
What are you saying? It's just ceremonial?
Yeah, it's a joke, bro. It's a joke, and we're the ones, like, I've been involved in scams before, and I know what a scam feels like, and this feels like a fucking scam to me. I'm sorry, but it does. I can't go for it. So, but with that being said, I just want to touch on something you said about the regulatory framework in the U.S. and how it's actually, like, guys like yourself, guys like us, you know, like myself, I have entities overseas, and the United States is literally, it's stunting innovation with its regulatory restrictions and basically on clarity. Because most of the people that I know in the industry are not trying to scam people. They're not trying to take advantage of anybody. They're basically just trying to build cool projects in the financial world that could do something. If the United States had clear regulations that would tell people exactly what it is they're expecting from the blockchain industry, there's no doubt about it in my mind that every serious player in our industry would want to do business in the U.S. So my challenge is to the U.S. government, right? Get your shit together, bottom line. Because if not, we're going to keep telling people overseas, innovation will keep happening overseas, and pretty soon the United States won't be the world leader in anything anymore. So, and that's something that we got to prevent. Because you have other places, right, in the world that take advantage of creating these regulatory frameworks, and it literally explodes their economy through the roof. So I don't understand why the U.S. hint doesn't use Puerto Rico, right, as maybe a regulatory sandbox, just to give some things a try to see if we can get some good ideas and some innovations here in PR, and then maybe we can do something in the United States as a whole.
I think you just got to start doing it, because if you ask for permission, you ain't going to get it.
Are you going to pay for the bond? I know you got it.
Which bond? James Bond?
No.
None's going to save us.
Truth is, the sad part is all these financial crimes, nobody goes to jail. They just give you a big ass fine. So yeah, you might as well just do it and just,
Yeah, you got to do it. You can't wait. If you ask for permission,
say sorry later, because, like nobody, right. When they start, like more people of my color start doing this shit, everybody's going to jail. But for right now, you can do this and still get away with it. Don't worry. So,
can I say something?
Absolutely.
So I think, of course, you got to just do it. The Wright Brothers did it. That's why there's an airplane. I think that because it's election time right now, I have a lot of experience.
Election's over.
Might be. I don't know. I'm just saying, in general, we have to get more involved. So back then, when I said I was going to take down the Federal Reserve, which I didn't do, still trying. But I got involved in politics, and I supported all these politicians that would and did, they didn't want the Federal Reserve, like Ron Paul, for instance, in 2007 and 2012, Ron Paul. I mean, I gave my life, even before that, Songes was against the Fed and other ones. And, I gave my life to these people, and I kept, I broke my ass day and night to push the message, just to tell people how fucked up the Federal Reserve System is, because people just didn't understand it then. A few more understand it now. We helped start End the Fed and promote End the Fed movement, and we had bills to audit the Fed and all this stuff. And at the end, I mean, in Iowa, we were in first place with Ron, and the media just came out and fucking destroyed us. Like, brrr. The media came out and destroyed his candidacy, and we went down to like third or something. Then we had to go back and steal the state. We went and took over the other committees. And so what I have to say is that then I found then I really found Bitcoin, I mean, I put my life behind Bitcoin because I saw it was still there. I go, hey, it's still here. It's still around. Check it out. And let me read the paper. And what happened was I realized that it was our only weapon against these people and against the Federal Reserve and against the ceremonial government we have. And I said, finally I have a weapon. So, we did all that stuff, center and whatever, all these other things. And then the COVID came out, and I was like stuck in my apartment, sitting in my apartment, and my mom was in a nursing home, and I couldn't visit her. And I was like figuring out how to kidnap her from the nursing home. I got the van.
You do realize we're filming this shit, right?
I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
I was trying to kidnap my mother.
We broadcast on Facebook and Instagram.
What do you say? It's live?
That stands for FBI, sir.
I don't care. Welcome. All those letters, whatever. No, they burnt the van.
I wasn't there. This is not my
story. They burnt
story.
the van, and then my mother died. So, but what happened between that was I got a phone call from Brock, and I'm sitting.
Who's this again?
Brock Pierce.
Might have seen him once or twice.
The mightiest duck of them all.
This is fucking true. This is fucking true. Absolutely.
So I get a phone call from him. He's like,
we need Mighty Duck jerseys. We're going to have a Mighty Duck themed party one of these days. But anyway, continue. That's a good idea for that one. But go ahead.
And he's like, hey, Nick, I'm going to run for president. You going to help me? I was like, so I was thinking of all this stuff, everything the media can do, everything. All of a sudden I was like, there was like a landslide, like a tidal wave of information going through my brain, and I was like, how the heck? I mean, I said, usually I'd be like, I'd hang up. But I said, you know what? This is the mightiest duck of them all. I said,
he sprinkles fairy dust when he runs by you too.
Something, right?
Yeah, I've seen it before, like several times.
What's it called? Peter Pan.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to be young again.
Right.
So I was like, I was thinking, and then I remember my mom, and I said this to a couple of people before, but I remembered my mom used to say, there's a word named tharos in Greek that means your courage, your fortitude, your ability to change your reality, your self-actualization, your forward energy, tharos. It's one word in Greek. And so the kids used to beat me up on the playground every day. This principal said, hey, they're just kids, because my mother would complain to them. I'd come home with a broken nose or whatever. I was Nick the Spick, the Puerto Rican, by the way, was my nickname, even though I'm Greek, because they're all like blonde-haired and blue-eyed.
I grew up in New York, too. I was a Spick, and I'm actually Puerto Rican.
I was out near the Long Island.
Yeah, my grandmother lived in Long Island
pickers.
35 years, man. Central Islip.
So I was Nick the Spick, the Puerto Rican, and they used to beat me up every day. And then one day I beat up the bully, and I kicked the teacher in the balls. You got that? Where's Facebook? And they wanted to send me to reform school. They wanted me to retread tires on the short bus. So my mother came in. My mother came into I was in the principal's office. My mother came in and she said, what's happening? And the principal said, oh, your son is out of control. He assaulted the teacher. He flattened the face of the boy. He's going to have a lot of surgery. And she said, but you say they're just children on the playground. Now my son is monster. She said, if I tell my brother, you're not going to see the tomorrow. She looked in his eyes. You're not going to see the tomorrow if I tell my brother. Meanwhile, her brother died 15 years earlier. So she lied right to the guy's face and threatened his life. And so he said, oh, no problem. We'll take care of everything. And we walked out of there. My mother said, don't let anyone take your tharos. Don't let anyone take your tharos. So
shout out to
What-
mom, man.
I'd come home from school. Most moms would say to you, did you wash your hands? They'd ask you, did you wash your hands? My mom would say, did you give your tharos to anybody? Like that. Who'd you give your tharos? Did you give it to anybody?
You know, the irony of that is, man,
And,
I want to lead into, and I'm sorry, go ahead, finish your story.
So then the mightiest duck call said he's going to run for president. And I'm like, fuck it. I go, no one's going to take his tharos. He wants to run. I'm gonna back him. So I put everything aside and, flew in the V formation.
And here we are.
And here I am today.
And the irony of that is, I'm going to take that one with me, by the way. Don't ever give anybody your Thanos, even though that wasn't my mother who taught me that. But at the same time, my mother did tell me never to compromise your morals or your ethics for any dollar amount of money, and never to kiss nobody's ass. Period. So I like it, man. Let me get a round of applause for my guy, Mr. Nick Spanos, man.